All right, welcome to the fourth edition of the Pacific Perspectives podcast, where two opposing fans talk about hockey and our teams. I'm Mimamoto, Xavier, and this is Nux Memes, JC, and
Hi.
we have lots to talk about with the Canucks and Oilers and the entire NHL. So, where do we want to begin? The big injury or the big news in the league last week, the McDavid injury. Can I get a word on you actually from this to begin?
I was gonna do like a mocking laugh, but I figured that is in poor taste, no matter who I do it to. I feel like it's a shame. You don't want to see someone injured, and the Oilers have already been struggling. So, like, well, sort of, yeah. I mean, you're hovering around 500 right now. I wouldn't say that's really good.
It doesn't feel like we're playing that bad though, honestly.
Yeah. Blah blah blah. Expected goals, whatever. McDavid. I mean, he's only missing like a little bit of time.
He might not even miss the 2 weeks. This guy's a demon.
Yeah.
This guy's a machine.
So like, it was very scary though. Like the way he went into the boards. I'm surprised he's not missing more. But I hope he gets better soon. It's no fun beating Edmonton if they're not fully staffed. But when the Canucks weren't fully staffed and you guys beat us, you still bragged about it.
It felt pretty good, didn't it? But excuse me, are you comparing Brock Besser to Connor McDavid?
Brock Besser plus Thatcher Demko to McDavid, I would say.
Means nothing.
I think it's
Anyways, so personally, I think that game against Nashville that we just played without McDavid was the best game I've seen us play all year. So that's very... Not that that's saying too much, because the first 3 games they looked horrible. So you have a sample size of like 4, but they looked amazing. Particularly, obviously, Draisaitl. I mean, he's a real beast when McDavid is out, which doesn't always happen. But that and playing against Nashville, I think
I was gonna say he's basically the Predator's predator.
Yeah, he is. He is that guy. I think he's only a point per game in his entire career, just above a point per game. I say only, without McDavid playing. But when you remove the probably 25 games from his rookie season, I'd say it's a bit more, or not his rookie season, the season after that, where he got like 50 points in 70 games. So obviously he wasn't at his prime. I'd say it's a lot more even, and he basically scores at the same rate without McDavid. So every time McDavid goes out for a few games, we always have to have that discussion: is Draisaitl's gonna show he's a fraud, or Draisaitl's finally gonna show the haters that he's actually? We've seen it so many times. It's not even worth talking about. He is perfectly fine without Draisaitl. I cannot believe that's still a discussion. It's just so silly. But for the McDavid injury itself, I'm not actually that concerned about it. Especially when it happened, I was like, that's kind of nothing. If it was the playoffs, he'd play and probably look a little bit slower, but it would look perfectly fine. It's not like bone damage. My only concern is maybe he's rushing himself back, because he kind of has a history of doing that. But, I mean, his body is crazy. So I think the Oilers will be fine, and I think McDavid will be fine. So it's nothing too big of a deal.
That was a huge game too, because somebody finally decided they were going to score a goal.
That's true. Hyman, it's actually kind of hilarious how they showed, or there was a bunch of tweets before like, Hyman's never going to get a goal. Immediately gets a goal after McDavid's out. Also, when we were losing to the Jackets and McDavid was out, you kind of saw how insanely flat they were, because of, I mean, your best player's out and you're down 3-0. Why would you keep playing? I don't even really. I mean, after that, the Blue Jackets got completely blown out twice, so that really hurts to see. That could have been us, but I don't blame them for playing that awful in that game. But it's really nice to see that they came out with the vindication that people assume they would in the second period after that game when they find out that McDavid is hurt. You'd hope they'd do that against the Blue Jackets as well. But I'm happy they did it against at least one team,
Yeah, I didn't have a great week in hockey, I would say.
Yeah.
First off, the Carolina game, they played terribly for the first 2 periods. Third period, they came alive, tied the game, at least got a point out of it. I don't know why Sebastian Aho was just completely alone
That was
in
funny.
front of the net.
That was very
I
hilarious.
got fantasy points from it, so I wasn't too mad, but that was weird. The game against New Jersey made me want to die. 6-0 for New Jersey. Team didn't do anything the entire time. There was nothing good from that game. And then there was the game yesterday against San Jose, the good old San Jose Sharks, which I know they were on a 3-game win streak and all. But what even happened there?
Those Sharks.
You let them tie it late, and then you score the go-ahead goal again, and then you leave Fabian Zetterlund completely alone in front of the net. And like, he's a great scorer. So the fact it slipped off his stick, like, we got so lucky there. But if we blew that, I would have actually jumped headfirst through a fucking window.
You know, you never really expect a Canucks Sharks game to be the most entertaining game of the night, but
They beat us
happened.
last year.
Yeah. Well, they
was a
sucked
good
even
game.
more.
I mean, it was pretty boring the first half of the game, but then like it came alive. It got a lot more entertaining. I mean, the team just sucks right now. Like, obviously, I've had some issues with Philip Hronik so far. Obviously, that guy, Elias Pettersson, for all you audio listeners, isn't doing anything. He's just not doing anything currently. And then like Miller was bad yesterday. Besser's
Miller has
kind of not
sucked
doing a
this
whole
year.
lot.
Miller's really been bad, honestly, when I've watched him.
Miller?
Yeah.
I mean, he's still at 9 points in 10 games, so he's not like awful. But the past couple games, he's barely been noticeable.
Like physically, he's not as there as he was before. I don't know.
Yeah, no, but the whole team is. Our depth has really been stepping up, and it's so funny because I feel like we've been so bad, but we're 8th in the league in point percentage.
Yeah.
5, 2, and 3. We've gotten points in 8 out of the 10 games. Like,
the loser
that is
point
good.
is going insane, and I think part of that is there's so many mediocre teams. I think the Hockey Guy just did a video on this. There are like 20 teams that are within 1 game of 500 right now, which is insane. I mean, part of that is like the Oilers and the entire Central Division is there, besides the Stars and Jets, so that's not good. But like, there's just a lot of good teams that are having poor starts. It's interesting. It's weird.
And then you have some teams that are overperforming.
And they're
like
still
Columbus.
500, yeah.
Columbus is decent. I mean, you know, I want to get into Washington just real quick because
Oh, yeah.
why are they this good?
Oh yeah, I think I had them barely making the playoffs, and people were like, "Hey, they got so much better." They added an entire legit good top 4. Matt Roy isn't even playing right now, by the way, but like Chychrun is playing good. John Carlson's playing some of the best hockey he's played in years. He's very underrated. That was part of that prediction. He's always been super underrated. But a big thing is Ovi's not awful.
Yeah,
Ovi in the past has been
like 5 or 6.
Yeah, he's actually done good. And
Yeah.
I mean, that entire top 6 is like, even Dubois has great expected numbers. He doesn't have as many points as you'd want, but he has great expected numbers. It's good.
Fantasy draft pick number 177. I'm up. I take Dylan Strome. He has 16 points in 12 games. I love that dude so much.
Speaking of that, how Chicago traded Nick Schmaltz for him and didn't sign him. And it's not like Strome was doing bad that year. I think he had like 50 points. Why did he not get signed?
I don't know. It was him, and then there was another one around that time too that Chicago. Kubalik they let go of too.
Yeah.
Way too early.
That one,
and I think they did the same with Pius Suter also. Like,
Oh
these
my
are all
gosh,
guys
yeah.
that could easily brought back, and they just didn't.
like, why? They just.
I don't know what's up with them.
That's pure tanking. That's pure tanking. It has to be.
Yeah.
I really wanted to sign Dylan Strome at the time. I think I remember it was down to the Caps, the Leafs, or the Oilers, and he ultimately went to the Caps. But man, that would have been a great pickup because they got him for like $3 million, and I think they signed him. I forget what they signed him to, a long-term extension, but it's basically nothing considering he is almost. I'd say at worst you can say he's a legit 1C. They got him for free. You can't really say that with many teams.
I don't know if he's currently definitely a legit 1C. I think overall he's kind of fringe on that line.
Yeah, like fringe.
Like last year he had 70 points, I think, which is good. It's solid. But
I'd say that's 1C numbers, especially when you're playing with a walking
around
corpse
there.
Ovi.
I mean, yeah. Obviously, I'll defend Dylan Strome currently with all my heart because he's carrying my team.
Yeah.
He's averaging 4.6.
There's a motivation here.
It's like top 15 for forwards, I think, right now.
Oh, wow. How many goals does he have? Doesn't he have more than Ovi? It's not all assists.
He has. Oh no, it's 4 goals, 12 assists.
Okay, so it is all assists. He's an assist merchant. He's a secondary assist merchant. Is what I'm hearing here.
Oh, he's the GOAT.
All right, moving on. Back to the Oilers and Canucks. Just wanted to say thank you for Vasily Podkolzin because that guy is actually really good. I do see that. I don't think that scoring ability is probably ever going to be there unless he's a serious late bloomer. But it's at this point it would take multiple years for him to turn into a guy who scores like 30. So, but for now, at his absolute worst, he's a really good bottom 6 player. And it's to the point where if he plays in the top 6, it's not like if you put Janmark there where he genuinely hurts and he's just like a placeholder. He actually doesn't kill the play. He keeps it going. He doesn't get points. I don't need points from that man. He's physical and he is really good defensively. That's all I need. Especially for when McDavid's out, you don't immediately need or expect Podkolzin, who you got for a 4th round pick and you're paying $1 million. You don't need him to be a 50-point guy. I'm going to expect 15 goals, 30 points, but 65.5 expected goals percents against top 6 competition, mind you, leads the Oilers. The early returns are looking pretty good for Podkolzin.
Yeah, sorry, I was trying to fix my lighting there, and it didn't do anything. It actually didn't change up anything that's happening here at all. Whatever. Yeah, no, I was when that trade happened. It was Podkolzin. What round was the draft pick?
It was a 4th round pick.
Yeah, okay. When that trade happened, I was on my way to work. I walked to work, and I was like 5 minutes away, and I pulled out my phone because I was stuck at a traffic light, and I was walking. I was not driving. Pulled out my phone. I look at it, and I see. I think it was an NHL discussion post that said that Podkolzin was traded, and I spent like the first 20 minutes of my shift just in the bathroom on my phone. Not crying actually, but I was so pissed. First of all, okay, I know there wasn't a lot of room for Podkolzin in our current forward group. I'm sure there could have been room, especially now with Joshua not being there. He would have been a good replacement. But I understand why they wanted to move him out. What I don't understand is why you would trade him to Edmonton.
Yeah, I don't get that. Why?
Why would they have given him to a division rival when like how many teams would have given a 4th for Podkolzin? There's got to be a ton.
I feel like there had to have been some teams that would give up like a 3rd.
There had to have been a better deal there to a team that doesn't anger me. It annoys me. I will always cheer for Podkolzin, and I'm glad he's doing well in Edmonton. I just wish he were doing well somewhere else.
I've got him scoring his first tonight. And maybe another one. So maybe go bet on that. They're playing Calgary at 6. And then we play the Devils at 6:30. I'm going to be at that game. That's going to be good. Although I have a feeling we're going to get creamed.
Yeah, probably. I think. But I'm only saying that because my team got creamed.
I was going to say the Devils are soaring through Western Canada, but the Flames kind of dicked them, so...
I just want to say, Mika Zibanejad sucks at hockey. I have the New York game on my TV right there. I look over, the pass goes to Zibanejad, and he's going for like a snipe, and it just rolls off the top of his stick just softly into the pads.
Man, what happened to Zibanejad?
Rangers fans hate him, and I am seeing why.
As a Trocheck fantasy owner, I'm completely here for it. I just got to say, scored today, by the way.
I want to take this moment to explain to the visual watchers what's happening there. This isn't my permanent setup, and that was kind of already there, and I don't care enough to take it off. It's Charlie XCX So
He's changing his background every single week.
I have, yeah. With what is this episode 4 now?
Yeah, episode 4.
Yeah, I've had a different background every single time. I don't have a desk chair. Does anyone have a desk chair in Ottawa that they want to sell me? Let me know. DM me.
DM next memes right now. All right. So Arshdeep Baines was on the second line. I think he was on the first line yesterday, wasn't he? He was on the second line for most of it. But
he's been kind of flip-flopping around a bunch of lines, but the one he started on past couple games is the second line with Pedersen and Garland. Now, you were saying before we hit record that people hate him. You think people hate him?
I've seen so many tweets. Maybe it's just I follow bad Canucks fans on Twitter, but I see someone said Baines has touched the ice. I turned the game off.
And then there are so many people who glaze him. I think both sides are wrong entirely. I think Baines is such a low impact player. He scored a good goal. He made a good play with Sprong against Pittsburgh for his first NHL goal. He almost scored on Diwali. Well, he did score, got taken back. So he's been fine. But he doesn't really do that much, and I still don't know if he's NHL ready, but I don't think he's awful. He's just low impact. He's not necessarily hurting us by being out there. But you kind of want Pedersen to have a better line mate than an AHL first liner.
I would say that.
But yeah, I don't mind him. I prefer Niels Oman though, and Niels Oman's on
they
waivers.
waived him.
Actually, when do we find out?
Did
if
he get
he's been
claimed? We would have found out by now.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Is Niels Oman still a Vancouver Canuck?
Let's check the Elliot Friedman tweet.
It's time to see. He clears. Niels Oman clears. Okay, I'm
live reaction.
I am shocked by Niels Oman clearing waivers because look at Colorado's forward.
Yeah,
group
hold
right
on.
Now.
How do you? Niels Oman has to be better than their entire fourth line right now. They had that seventh round double overager playing. Like you're telling me that Niels Oman is not better than that?
It makes no sense. I thought for sure he was gone because they have Prishapov on the third line. I think that's.
Oh my goodness. That is a serious fumble.
Parker Kelly, third line center. Kovalenko, third line. And then their bottom line is still Oliver Shillington. And then Tynan and Wagner.
Who?
Niels Oman is a very reliable 4C. He's great defensively. He doesn't provide a lot of offense. But he's a good, smart player. He has great hockey IQ. Why would Colorado not claim him? How does no team claim him? He is an NHL
Does
player.
Colorado have any future considerations from the Canucks in a previous trade? Because honestly, maybe that's what the stipulations were. Don't trade or don't claim Oman. I don't know.
That'd be kind of interesting, but I can't see Vancouver caring enough about Niels Oman to include that.
That's true. When I first saw it,
nobody claimed Oman. I thought for sure he was gone because I'm not saying he's my favorite player or anything. I barely notice him when he's playing, but that's kind of a good thing.
When I first saw it, I thought it was seriously just them throwing a bone to the Avalanche. They haven't made any waiver claims at all, so I don't know what's going on.
So
there.
Weird.
Or
I
any
guess
trades either.
Colorado's just fuck it, we ball. They're just going with it.
Their roster is obviously their roster's completely screwed until. I mean, I guess. Within a couple months, you're going to see Landeskog back. You're going to see Nichushkin back, and Colton is out for a month, I think. So, and he was actually having a very good year, which sucks.
He was so good, yeah.
Yeah, like a goal per game, insane. But man, it might just be one of those years for the Avs where they just lose completely everyone. I mean, I never thought that Landeskog would ever come back. I thought he was going to retire from hockey. So, I mean, we don't know how good he's going to be when he comes back either.
They are going to be an interesting team to look at because, even beyond, obviously their forward depth is the main issue right now.
Yeah.
They also have Kiviranta on the first line with McKinnon and Rantanen. And then the second line, they have O'Connor, which O'Connor's good, but he's not a second line player. They have so many problems throughout there, but also defensive-wise, their top four is good. Gerard, Makar, Taves, Manson. But the bottom pairing of Dahan, Malinsky, I'm not exactly convinced by. And then obviously...
Yeah, putting it lightly.
Obviously, there is a huge problem in net. Basically, Georgiev cannot stop a puck.
Any Georgiev truthers? I'm a proud Georgiev owner.
Justus Onanen can take this team. Also, I really like saying his name. I just found out exactly how to pronounce it. Justus Onanen.
Justus
I love it.
Onanen. I do love that.
Onanen. I like Onanen.
Justus Onanen.
I hope that
say
he
one more time.
can do well, so I can continue to say that name. For every podcast we record where he's still the starting goalie of the Avalanche, I will make a point of saying his name.
Justus Onanen.
Justus Onanen.
Justus Onanen.
Onanen.
Isn't it? No, it's Finnish. You gotta Justus Onanen.
You have to say it with the typical Finnish hockey player voice.
Justus Onanen.
Justus Onanen. What are we doing? What is this podcast even fucking about?
Did you see? I don't know how much radio you listen to. Do you listen to any radio?
None. I don't even listen to podcasts. This is the most I've listened to a podcast ever.
Really? Okay, well, there's this ad on NHL Sirius XM, and it's UC Saros and Ryan O'Reilly talking about like banking, and Ryan O'Reilly's like, "What?
No goals."
I love that ad. No goals.
That is a visual commercial too. It's not just a radio thing.
Oh, really?
So
okay.
I've seen that.
Well, why would they? Why would they show commercials with visuals that you need to get the ad, and then just I don't know. But I do like the ad anyways. So no goals.
No goals.
I love that. I haven't seen it on TV though. Maybe it's not on Sportsnet.
There's something about the Finnish personality that's just so intriguing.
I love it. That's why I love Puljärvi. Yeah. Like they seem so innocent.
Like what can happen? What happens in those international? Like when they're playing internationally, what happens in those locker rooms? What do they talk about? What do they do?
No goals.
No goals.
No goals. So around the league, our main heart picks, Hellebuck and Kaprizov. If I'm not mistaken, Kaprizov leads the league in points by quite a bit.
Not by quite a bit. He's currently tied with Ryan
Makar
with 21, but he's played less games than them. He plays against Toronto tonight, so hopefully he can extend that.
Yeah.
He's played 2 less games than both. He's played 2 less games than Makar, 3 less than Reinhardt, and he's tied with them for the lead in points.
Oh my! Oh yeah, no, he absolutely is probably. I think I'd probably give the heart to Makar right now if I had to pick.
I mean, I don't know about that. Like Colorado's 6th in their division. They're 5-7 right now. Can you give if the season were to end today, you're not giving it to a player on a team
non-playoff team? No, you can't.
Player on a team that's 7-1-2.
Yeah, you can't do that. I don't think.
They're really bad. I didn't realize it was that bad.
No, they're very bad. I mean, after it's why they have so many points. You know, in franchise mode, when you have a terrible team or you're trying to get McDavid to have like a proper scoring, you just replace all your fourth liners with McDavid already playing on the first. That's basically what's happening here. The fourth liners don't get any time. McKinnon and Makar play literally half the game, 30 minutes. And as a coach, you have to do that. Otherwise, you're screwed. Like, you're not going out there playing Ivan and Nikita Kovalenko for more than 10 minutes a night. Otherwise, you're screwed.
Yeah, you're not giving Oliver Shillington 20 shifts at forward.
No.
Actually, Makar's only 10th in the league in average time on ice. That's interesting.
Really? Yeah.
Roman Josi
I can't believe that.
2 seconds over John Carlson and 3 seconds over Seth Jones, who's actually been not too bad, honestly.
Yep. No, Seth Jones has been underrated.
He's not bad.
Brock Faber's still there up there with the ice time there. John Carlson too. Wow, interesting. Yeah. The names up there never really seem to change, do they?
Well, no, but it makes sense. I mean,
if Chicago's defense keeps getting worse,
I wonder where the top-ranking forward is. Can I even see it?
It's got to be McKinnon.
Mikko Rantanen at 34th.
Yep.
Lane Hudson is playing 23 minutes a night. You cannot do that.
I wonder why they're so bad. I wonder why that team is really bad. I
saw. Gotta be Martin St. Louis' fault.
I saw a. Oh yeah. I saw a. What's the Habs fan account again? HFTV. Yeah, HFTV.
My goats. Shout out HFTV Sports right now. I can't wait to see you guys again in January. Hopefully.
I love them.
Go on.
So they did a post along the lines of, yeah, it seems like this team is really bad, and I'm like, obviously, was there actually any Habs fans that before the season started? And I guess there were. Were there any Habs fans before the season started that actually genuinely thought this team was a playoff team? I think realistically, most people thought they were maybe the bottom of bubble teams.
We yapped about this last time. Like,
Yeah.
Anybody who thinks St. Louis should be fired currently had their expectations set too high for the Canadians.
Even if they weren't injured, is Patrick Laine taking this team from bottom 5 to top 16? No.
No.
And I guess,
especially in that division.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
we did mention,
like, that division is just so tight. Even when Boston is playing horribly, which, by the way, I think we figured out the team that the Senators and Detroit or Buffalo are going to leapfrog to get into the playoffs. It's Boston.
I don't know.
They suck.
We can leave Buffalo out of that, I think.
Maybe we can. Well, if you take out the 0-4, 0-3 start, they're not too bad. They've been playing okay.
That's Buffalo.
They are just kind of still a middling team, which you hate to see, but
I don't know. I find it quite funny.
I honestly was a little surprised when I saw their record was 4-7-1. I thought it was more like 6-6.
It's actually impressive that there are 4 different teams in the league who are currently 4-7-1.
Oh my goodness.
That feels like
that's insane. Look at how many teams are never mind. It was an optical illusion. There's a lot of teams that are 5-6-1 and 5-5-1. It's a very popular record to have right now, I guess.
And the Canucks are 5-2-3 because we're fucking weird.
That's just great. And the Kings 6-3-3. Don't even get me started on the overtime losses.
With the most fraudulent wins of all time.
Yep. Against who? Absolute bottom feeders. Absolute. Have they played a playoff team yet?
We went through their first 5 wins. Who did they beat? Was it Chicago? No, they lost to Chicago.
No, they lost to Chicago in the shootout.
That's quite funny. Who was there? Oh, it was Vegas. Okay, fair enough.
Oh, yeah. That's the first good team they've beat. Okay. So, going into the next week for these teams, I know for the Oilers, they've been given a gift from God here. They are basically not playing without McDavid, so that's great. Like, they play, I think before this, they had 2 days off, played Nashville, and then they've got another 2 days off. They do play back-to-back today and tomorrow, Sunday, Monday, but then there's another 2 days off, and then another 2 days off, and then they play Vancouver. They've actually got a insanely hard stretch here. They played Nashville, get a little bit of a freebie with Calgary. You need to win that game, even if McDavid's out. And then the Devils, that's going to be hard. Vegas, going to be hard. Vancouver, that's going to be a dogfight. Islanders, they suck. And then we play Nashville again, which, by the way, we've played Nashville 3 times in the first, in a span of 3 weeks.
That's how it went with the Canucks in Nashville last year. We got our games out of the way so early, and then we had to face each other in playoffs after not having seen each other for almost half a year.
If that could happen to the Oilers this year, that would suck.
So for the Canucks, in this next week until we record the next podcast, we have Anaheim on Tuesday. Got to win that. LA on Thursday. I think that's going to be an interesting game. I've been shitting on the Kings in this podcast quite a bit through the past couple weeks, so it would look quite bad if we lost that. And then Edmonton on Saturday, which should be an interesting one for us to talk about. I will be in Montreal for that, so... Oh, yeah. I'll talk about it after we stop recording.
So, it kind of sucks. I wanted to say maybe McDavid comes back for that game against the Canucks. It would be legendary. But at the same time, I really don't want to see him rushed back. I feel like that would kind of hurt his progress and probably hurt his game the rest of the season. So I'm going to say I hope that doesn't happen, but it would absolutely be legendary because do you remember the first game of 1920? That game where he came back from the terrible Giordano injury? You remember that?
The year 1920, to be honest.
2019-20. 19. Do you remember 1920?
Yeah, dude, it was like
It
yesterday.
was. I was like just yesterday. No, that game. I think that was the game where. No, that was the game-winning goal where he danced through the entire Canucks, and he played so slow that game. It was insane. I'd never seen McDavid play more slow than that year. That was probably his worst year because he just came back from tearing ACL, MCL, Achilles, like groin, everything, and then it doesn't matter. He still just completely destroys the Canucks. That thinking of that kind of brought me to that. You don't remember?
My memory is really bad. Asking me to remember something from like before this decade is a little bit too much. But let me tell you, if McDavid does come back on Saturday, I don't want to like insinuate anything. I don't want to say I'm cheering for it. I'm just saying I expect Tyler Myers to greet him with
Oh yeah,
the Leon Draisaitl special.
yeah. That's another one. They are going to, if he comes back before he's ready, he's going to get injured again because people are going to slash him in the ankle. Like
This
it's
is
just,
the most
I don't even
likely
blame
team
the
to
people
want
that do
to
it. It's just
exact
inevitable.
Yeah, I mean, Kiefer Sherwood too. Like, and if Dakota Joshua comes back,
Absolute
McDavid's
goons.
dead.
So actually, I think Joshua would come back for that game, wouldn't he? Because he's got like another week.
I don't know. They keep saying he's close, and then he's
got a
not in the
torn
line.
ball.
I'm getting kind of sad, but the fact that Amon got sent down makes me think that we're like right around the corner, and I'm so excited because
Yeah.
I love that guy.
Would have to be, right? Well, frankly, I don't think he's going to score like 30 goals, whatever he did again. He's probably going back to being a fourth liner, sadly.
Oh yeah. Hate on a dude who had cancer. That's your fucking specialty.
I forgot. I thought he
Can
like
you ask-
tore his ball
Can you
sack or
answer
something.
why you hate kids with cancer right now?
Oh my gosh. I almost forgot about that. That honestly, here's a good story for that post. I have my fantasy group chat. One of the guys who's a Canucks fan is at the Devils game, whenever that was, and he just sends it. He sends a picture of the kid with cancer, and people were insinuating. One of the accounts literally says, "So you're basically saying you hope he dies?" What are you talking about? The sign didn't even say like, if the Canucks win, I'll beat cancer. It's like, I'm going to beat cancer, and the Canucks are going to beat the Devils.
Yeah,
So
you need to explain the post. So I'll explain the post for people who didn't see it. It was like what the sign. The first slide was
Everybody
that
saw it.
sign that he's talking about. The second slide was the score being 4-0 after 2, and the third slide was a reaction image of Quinn Hughes looking at the celebrating Oilers. Which I mean, listen, I know you weren't making fun of a kid with cancer, but at the same time, you were making fun. You were making fun of the kid for having cancer. You were making
was
fun of the Canucks
included-
for letting down this kid with cancer.
he was included in the joke, but it was mostly more about how the Canucks let him down.
Yeah.
But like, can kids with cancer not be involved in like some humor? Not that it's like poking fun at them, but like they're humans too. Like, come on now, you can't treat them like they're just babies.
I don't want to speak on the matter, to be honest.
No comment.
You're
I don't
kind
know.
of digging a hole now.
I actually thought it was quite hilarious how people were straight up like, too far, dude. I'm unfollowing, man. And I lost, I think, 1 follower. Like, and there
I
were
thought it was
people
funny that
coming in
people
from the
looked at that.
Explore page, coming in like, dude, this is hilarious. What are you talking about? Like, so many comments saying you are literally worse than Hitler. Like, you are going to hell.
Dude,
I couldn't believe it.
that was so funny. I like when people hate on you. It's kind of like my favorite thing.
You Schadenfreude, I think, is what the term is.
Yeah, sure, whatever. Yeah. Well, I feel like that's all we got. I mean, okay, what's your score prediction for Vancouver Edmonton?
Score prediction for Vancouver Edmonton. I'm going to say, you know what? I think law of averages. The Canucks got the better of us every single game last year. So the Canucks got the better of us in every single. It felt like in every single regular season game last year, and even in a couple of the wins early on in that series, we were just getting not only unlucky, but everything went our like didn't go our way. So it just felt like we were meant to lose those games.
Oh yeah. Losing 8-1 is unlucky. Yep.
No,
That's what that was. That was bad luck. That was pure bad luck.
But
if you just got one more bounce, you win that one.
Okay, not that one. That was just Jack Campbell completely destroying us, and I mean, every Oiler played good. But what about the second one where we outshot you like 15 or like 50-15, and still won in regulation 4-3?
Well, that's just because Casey DeSmith was the GOAT for like 2 months.
Yeah, exactly. That was just that just happened.
Completely outplayed you the third game when we won, I think 6-2. Because Draisaitl went into that saying like, we gotta go in there, we got to get a win.
Yeah, that one actually really pissed me off. Which, by the way, why did we play you guys 3 times early in that season? I feel like that kind of set us up.
We didn't see each other again until April.
Yeah, and then
one of the last games.
That game sucked.
Evenly matched game, I'd say.
It was an evenly matched game, but that game sucked. I'm pretty sure McDavid didn't play in that game. I could be wrong.
I think that's true. The only thing I remember about that game was Sam Lafferty scoring, which I think was probably his last goal as a Canuck ever.
I think it was like a 3-1, 4-1 game, but it was like empty netters. It was a 1-goal game, but I just remember that game completely sucked. Considering the like hype, neither of the teams really came up to play, but the Oilers just especially did not seem to want to score at all. And then
that was
obviously
a big game though. That was like
yeah, that was like the biggest game of the year. That decided the division.
Yeah. So now we're into this new season. I feel like the Canucks have revenge on their minds. I want to think.
Absolutely.
And if McDavid is not playing, I'm saying Vancouver. Well, even if McDavid's picked Vancouver anyway, because I have to.
Yeah,
but
what
I'm
are you
going to say Vancouver. The Vancouver Canucks are going to win 4-2 on Saturday.
4-2 on Saturday. I'm actually going to say a 3-2 Canucks shootout victory. I think it's going to I think it's going down to the wire. What I can tell you is I think the Canucks are going to outshoot the Oilers by quite a bit.
I think that Niels Höglander is going to hit a Michigan.
Well, you want to bet on that?
No.
I wonder why. I wonder why you wouldn't want to bet on that unlikely event.
Okay, to be fair, I have Kaprizov winning the Hart, but I also don't want to bet on that.
Do you have Höglander in fantasy?
No. I just traded for Kuzmenko, though. I traded Appleton for Kuzmenko.
I actually... did I mention... I don't know if I mentioned this. I traded Cam Talbot and Evgeny Malkin for... You're going to laugh. Alexander Georgiev and Kuzmenko. He hasn't started yet, but Malkin also doesn't have a point in like 3 games, and Kuzmenko is actually looking pretty hot. Like, I think Kuzmenko might end up getting more points than Malkin the rest of the way because his underlings have been amazing. I think he has the best high danger chances like per 60 on the Flames, which is pretty hard to do. Even though it's pretty high even for the Flames. So he's like top 50. So he's going to be good. But I think Georgiev, if he wasn't terrible, I think he would be like a top 3 fantasy goalie, at least in my league. So that trade could work out very well if Justus Annunen begins to fumble the bag or even slip a little bit. I feel like Georgiev has the trust of the goalie more. I really, or the trust of the coach. I mean, I'm really banking on that.
I really love when your camera does that thing where it unfocuses and refocuses a million times. Anyway, I'm hoping Kuzmenko's points start to roll in again more. I'm sure they will pretty soon. Appleton's averaging like a solid 1 point more than him right now. So on the averages, it doesn't look good. But I picked up Appleton off of free agency, and I'm getting Kuzmenko for him, and I'm happy with that.
You traded Appleton for Kuzmenko?
Yeah.
How's that? How did we let that through? How is that not a veto?
For what side?
For whoever gets whoever's trading away Kuzmenko. That's a complete fleece. And he's frozen again. All right, you're back.
You froze.
No, you froze.
Appleton's averaging like 3. Kuzmenko's averaging 2.1.
Well, yeah, the Jets are going crazy. It's not even fair.
Yeah, he's doing quite a lot. So
I think Kuzmenko's getting peripherals this year too. He has more like 1, maybe 2 goals. So he's due. He'll heat up. All right.
He only has 1 goal.
So I think we're gonna leave it there. Do you have anything else you wanted to say? Maybe.
Yeah, Philip Roenick. Philip Roenick.
Are you listening?
If you're seeing this right now, do something, please, man. $7 million you're taking from us. 7 million, please, man. You were okay against San Jose. Don't take those interference penalties anymore. I believe in you. Please do something. Do you have anything you want to say?
I wonder if anyone perhaps thought that contract was terrible immediately when it signed.
Everyone! Like, it's clearly not a great contract, but he kind of earned it and we need him, so he's just gonna get it anyway.
No,
His fucking agent deserves a raise.
He was just injured in the playoffs, dude. I don't know what you're talking about.
Do you have anything else you want to say?
No, we'll leave it there. All right. That was the 4th edition of the Pacific Perspectives podcast. Thank you all for listening. We're going to see you next Monday. That will be after the Canucks play the Oilers, I believe. So that will be an interesting... Yeah, probably right the day after they play them. So we will have lots to talk about then. But for now, signing off. We'll see you guys later.
Fuck cancer.